I think for any European organization that is working not only in the scientific but also in the advocacy and health policy field, it is important to have a representation in Brussels, because that is where the policymakers for public health are really sitting and interacting with the local politicians, and therefore it is very important to also have your voice heard in Brussels. This relates to things like making digestive health really known to policymakers there, because it is not such an obvious topic as it would be, for example, cancer or heart disease or diabetes. So one of our initial tasks was to communicate to people that there is something like digestive health, and it actually affects a lot of people, and it is important in the political field. The other thing is that, of course, it is very important when it comes to research projects and research planning, like, for example, the new framework program Horizon Europe, to interact with the relevant policymakers, again, to indicate that digestive health is a very important topic that has to be taken care of in the framework program as well.
So I'm basically working for the UEG Secretariat, and I am the EU Affairs representative. I'm based in the Brussels office of UEG, so we have a permanent representation in Brussels. And I'm supporting the work of the UEG Public Affairs Committee in advocating our messages towards the policymakers and other stakeholders in the healthcare arena in Brussels. And basically, I would say that I am the middleman. So I am securing the flow of information between the scientific community and the political world. So I'm securing that the information is flowing in both ways, which means I'm taking the messages from the scientific community, translating them into a, let's say, layman's language, and then I am selling these messages to the politicians, so let's say to the members of the European Parliament, to the representatives of the member states, or the people, officers who are working at the European Commission. And the most important part of this selling of messages to the politicians is also to package these messages into a specific policy framework. So I'm giving it, let's say, a bigger perspective, and then I'm targeting these messages towards the recipients as appropriate. And I must say that when you want to do this advocacy work, you have to believe in the messages that you are presenting, and basically this is the key to success, I would say, because if you are not 100% sure of what you are saying or what you are representing, then your counterparts will notice that at one point, and then you are not getting the results that you would like to have. And I was when I started in Brussels, I was working, one of the areas was health, and basically I'm very enthusiastic about health, and I've been working 6 years in this policy area from different angles. Yeah, and this is what I want to continue to do for UEG.
So 2019 is actually quite an interesting year for public affairs in Brussels. So first of all, there's the European elections, which will change the composition of the European Parliament and also the Commission in the end. So there will be a lot of new contact points for us, and also the whole situation will be different. So this is one focus area that we need. The other thing is that the new framework program, Horizon Europe, will be decided in 2019. So there's a lot of talks going on in order to make sure that digestive health is actually represented in the Horizon Europe program. Then in 2018, we launched the Digestive Health Members of Parliament group. So we want to grow this group, to maintain it and grow it. And due to the European elections and maybe new members coming in and some members leaving, it will also be quite a task to reassemble the Members of Parliament group. I think this will be the main focus areas on the political side, in addition to the topics that we are focusing on.
I would say it's to make the bridge, I'm saying again, between the scientific world and the policy-making world, and to get attention of policymakers and interest of policymakers about GI topics and digestive diseases, because Brussels is a very competitive environment, which means not even in the healthcare arena, also in the other areas, there are many organizations like UEG who are representing different groups, different topics, let's say diseases, products, and all of them are very vocal and they are trying to get attention of policymakers, which means we are only one of these groups, and we have to try hard to make advocacy about digestive health and to compete with the other stakeholders that are out there in this arena. And in addition, the next challenge is basically that digestive health is not as prominently communicated as other diseases areas or topics, let's say. So if you want to start a campaign, you have to be very creative about how you go about this campaign, how you choose the title of the campaign, how you do your messaging. So normally what we do, it depends also on the topic or on the disease, because there are obviously topics like nutrition and alcohol which are highly discussed in Brussels and everyone understands what is going on in this area, and there are diseases which we are representing which are not very well known. So we have an additional task here to explain these diseases and importance of why this should be dealt with at the EU level. So we have to be very creative in making these campaigns, so to say, and we take it mostly from a broader perspective, like from a perspective of chronic diseases or fighting cancer, and then we narrow down to the actual disease or topic that we wanted to discuss with the audience in Brussels. So this is how we basically do that. And the digestive health group, which we managed to create in the course of the past months, let's say, or a year, is a very helpful tool for us, because this is a group of members of the European Parliament who are ambassadors of our topics. So they are very enthusiastic about promoting these topics within their fellow colleagues. So we have a tool which is actually advocating for our goals from within the European institutions.